150.
Yeah, this is 150, so that's good.
Congrats.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 150 Left Coast Leafs podcast. I'm Sean Orr. Not just joined Trevor Bass, we're joined with multiple people. We got our season preview show. Leafs get going tomorrow. We're recording on Tuesday.
And everything is just fine.
It's great.
As long as you stayed off Twitter this morning during practice, everything is just fine. So we have a different spin on the panel this year. We have returning champion Christine McAvoy from Regal Beagle fame. Yes. My 2019 draft date, which seems like 100 years ago now.
It does.
Grief. And Bryan Rowley, have you been on the pod before? You've been in the background before.
Oh yeah,
on a deck pod, but you've been on the mic before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, once or twice.
Yeah. So local hero Bryan has his own podcast called In the Community, and so he's going to join us. Brother of a friend of the show, Rick Rowley. So and we're going to go. So let's just start off. Christine, you already shared your beer with us, but it's fantastic. So tell us what you're drinking tonight.
I've got Backcountry Brewing out of Squamish, BC, and it's a West Coast IPA called Everything's Coming Up Millhouse.
We love
with
that.
The very good font and right appropriate colors too. So it's awesome.
Is that do they have more Simpsons themed beers?
They have. The last one that I had from there was the Goggles Do Nothing, and it was a sour. The whole can was lime green. So,
that's cool. Sean, coming off a 10-hour drive from Northern Ontario today, do you have a beer, or would that put you to sleep in 5 minutes?
I would be sleeping in about 5 minutes if I had a beer right now. But
I figured you might tap out today.
I drank my pod beer on the weekend. It was from the Flying Monkey Brewery. It was a triple IPA, 10+ beer. Deadly. So deadly.
I thought you were going to say I drank my pod beer in the car on the way down from our 10-hour drive. Well,
just nursed it.
We have Wyatt hooked us up today with something that's in the brown bag. Reg has one, I have one, Bryan has one, and it is Phillips, the Eclipse Black Velvet Stout.
Oh,
ooh! So it's winter is coming. We are in full stout mode, and I couldn't be happier.
Love it.
That's a meal in a can.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It is. Speaking of meals in a can, did everyone get some turkey this weekend?
Nope.
No?
Nope. It's first time in a while that I haven't had either family dinner back home or got a Friendsgiving invite. We did do an Oktoberfest thing on Friday, so that was kind of fun. Nice. Pretzels and beer and stuff.
Reg, you want to
I'm not too choked. I feel like I'll get it at Christmas. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear my funny Thanksgiving story? Do you see this? Anybody see the spot on my forehead?
Yes.
Is it a big zit
up on my hairline? So we had 20 people over on Thanksgiving. I had a 10-pound bag of potatoes in a giant pot, and it was boiled, ready to go. I went to dump it into the colander in the sink. I got backsplash right on my forehead.
Oh no!
And I didn't know. So I just wiped it off, and it kind of had a little bit of a reaction to it. Hurt. And then the next morning, I realized I had a burn right in my hairline and my forehead from potato water. I felt super Irish in that moment.
Potato man.
So here we are, guys. Another season. A season that we were so uncertain that we were going to even care about 3 months ago. We all just swore this team off.
We care.
I care.
Yeah, but care about the regular season. Let's just say, what would our skepticism be? But Sean and I, over time and a few podcasts and a in-person visit to Victoria, we decided that we're just going to try and stay positive and find good things about the season as we line up for the playoffs, because new year, new beer, new team, right?
I like it. Yep.
Yeah. So with that,
maybe kick us off then, Trevor. Maybe kick us off into the conversation. I know you have virtual and handwritten notes. Maybe go over of
Mine are
who's several handwritten notes. Go over the who's in, who's out for the year, just to give us a quick overview before we go into some discussion points here.
Okay, so out, Freddie Anderson in goal.
Yay.
Bittersweet. We've been calling it for a while. Zach Hyman.
That one hurt. That one hurt. That's really weird seeing him in the Oilers jersey. I do not like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it either. Good thing we don't have to play them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bogo, who I became like kind of a new respect for during the All or Nothing series.
I still haven't finished it. No spoilers.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they do a little feature on him. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Jumbo Joe out.
It was cool while it lasted Florida.
Of course.
I feel like it's going to get too hot with his beard. He might have to try.
Yeah, no kidding, hey. Riley Nash, we barely knew you. Galley, thanks for game 5.
Yeah.
Nick Foligno, if healthy, I think the storyline might be a bit different. We might be talking about a different situation. And I mean, future Hall of Famer waiver pickup by the Habs yesterday, Adam Brooks. Former Regina Pat, that one hurts. I tweeted out that he's going to score 20 goals as a third line center for a cup winning team at some point in his career. Or did I just say that to you, Sean? I don't remember what I say
that
anymore.
might just be an internal thought.
That might be. And so, this is exciting. A lot of new blood it's all forwards except for Peter Mrazek in goal.
Still strange, but I like it.
We are going to unpack the goalie situation.
Yeah.
Nick Ritchie.
Zach Hyman 2.0.
Yeah.
Help me with the first name. The Kampf. What's his first name?
David.
David Kampf.
Yeah.
David Kampf. Kasha. I had what I think is the tweet of the year, but because if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, like it didn't really fall. Like we have no Twitter followers, but I said I'm cautiously optimistic for the season. Right, and I mean, if Steve Dangle tweeted that, it's got like 10,000 likes and retweets. I just felt so ripped off.
I'll go do it. Don't worry.
I don't think anyone's gonna watch you get sweaty and scream at a camera either, though. Dangle seems to get away with that. So.
Michael Bunting.
Yes, I like him.
Hat-trick Michael Bunting.
Yep.
Amadio.
Right. Michael.
What Michael?
Yeah.
And I said Peter Mrazek already. So, any thoughts, Bryan, on the upgrade, downgrade of that group?
I like Michael Bunting. That guy's a beauty.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Kasha. He was for a while there. He was looking like he was gonna pan out, and I think it was Winnipeg is where he was.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was with Anaheim first, then he went to Boston. He's got potential. Like he's got a lot of potential. It's he's had concussion issues though, so if he can stay healthy, that'd be the best case scenario for us.
Okay.
Right. And then that David Kampf guy, I was doing a read up on him. Apparently, he's very solid defensively.
Yeah.
And good on shorthanded, which we kind of lost with
Hyman.
Yeah, exactly. So
and now Soups too.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that Soups ever went in, but
yeah, I know.
He worked hard
but
though.
is very close many times.
He was a good penalty killer, and he's faster than McDavid. So.
Maybe.
It is. I agree, though. It's a shame to lose a guy like Hyman because although in the playoffs it was like, during the regular season he played like I don't know. He was a force. I mean and then Freddie. I mean, such is luck, right? Like the guy, his stats have been dwindling year by year, so. Maybe he'll have a career year in Carolina. So
yeah,
I saw him getting lit up the other day, and I went, "No, I feel bad."
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the ins and outs, Christine?
I would like to note that you totally forgot Jared McCann in the outs.
Oh yes, for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was.
I thought he'd be good.
It was a creative move, for sure. I don't know what we would have lost if we had kept him, but it was smart and interesting. But yeah, I'm still a big Michael Bunting fan.
Mhm.
I liked his performance in the preseason from the games that I managed to see. Interested in the goalie tandem, but I guess we're going to talk about that. Actually, I think that's supposed to be next.
Yeah, that's next on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any like, is this an overall stronger lineup, you think, or weaker?
I think it's going to be sort of similar. Like there's a little bit of pieces moving around, and as long as some of the shoes, like the Hyman shoes, can be filled, then I think we're okay. Losing stuff like Jumbo isn't as big a deal to me. That was just like cool as a thing.
I think he took up too many important minutes
Yeah,
last year. Like they
agree.
they overplayed him quite a bit in the end.
It just means that there's more opportunities for some of the younger guys too to sort of prove themselves, and plus they're probably a little faster. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Sean?
Oh, he's muted.
I think for I think for me, it's to touch on something that you guys haven't already mentioned. For me, it's the Nick Ritchie signing. I think he's the potential for Zach Hyman, and getting him at a 2-year term. I like that. Obviously, the first few weeks here, our lineup won't be, or the first 8 weeks with Mikhaev's injury. But I really like the potential with Ritchie playing on the top line with Marner and Matthews. I think that adds a really nice element to our game. So I'm most excited for him, to be honest. I think he's got a lot of potential there. The Bunting one is an intriguing one, as you noted there, Christina. And also, he's got potential to win Rookie of the Year, too. So he's technically a rookie, so this is his rookie year. He fits the criteria.
Yeah.
So he could be a dark horse Calder trophy winner here. So that's one tab to keep on. But I think to lead us into our next conversation, the big one a year ago, or I guess 9 months ago, or whenever last season started.
Time.
Yeah, there is time is no such thing in COVID. The goaltending is the biggest one, and before the start of last season, it was Trevor felt, the whole world felt that, except for the management of Toronto Beliefs, that bringing back, not addressing the goaltending was going to be an error, and it was. Anderson, obviously, he ends up getting hurt for a long stretch of the year. When he did play through an injury. He wasn't great, and we saw a real emergence coming from Jack Campbell. We all know his story. He set numerous records for winning streaks to start a year. Really excited for him to play, and now we have a platoon coming in with him and Mrazek. Also a big year coming in with Campbell, that he's a pending UFA, so he's looking to get paid. So it's going to be interesting, and as we get into this conversation with the goaltending, I'm most excited for Jack Campbell. I've been a big supporter of him since we made the trade coming into the year. Obviously getting hot. I thought he was a better goaltender with the series against Carey Price. Price's name gets vaulted higher, even though Campbell, I thought, played better overall throughout the series. For me, coming into the year, I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B scenario to start. But my hope is that Jack Campbell emerges here, and he's playing in that 55 game mark. We'll cause potential cap issues for next year if we have to re-sign him, but that's clearly a problem that Dubas doesn't mind punting down the road, as we've seen time and again.
That's a next year problem.
Exactly. So for me, I like the Mrazek signing. I think it was time for a change of scenery of getting Freddie out. But I think with our improvement along the defense, our defense last year, we're very similar to this year defensively. Adding a Comp as our third line center and a checking role will allow Matthews to play a little bit more offensive zone starts. But for me, I think that the goaltending is the biggest question mark on the team. But I'm a big Jack Campbell fan. He's got that proven pedigree of a younger high draft pick. He's been down to the lowest depths possible in the ECHL. He's worked himself up. And you may or may not have seen, depending where you're at within the series, but he is a phenomenal person
It's
within
the
the dressing
attitude.
room.
I could have told you
Yeah.
that, like, I would be looking forward to seeing all of it for sure. So
And so my hope for the year is that Campbell continues to play the way he did last year, and I'm hopeful that he's going to be the guy that we all want and really need him to be, with no issues toward Mrazek. He's a streaky goalie, but I hope Campbell's our guy when we get into game one of the playoffs, assuming we make the playoffs.
Yeah, Christine.
I agree. Jack's probably one of my favorite people on the team, and a lot of it is his attitude, and I think it's sort of infectious with the rest of the team. And like, I know I haven't seen the series; it's been a busy week. And like, you'd think I would have binged it the first day, but it's been a week. But yeah, just knowing him and like even his just a genuine excitement to play the game, it comes through in his hockey, because like he tries really, really hard. And even when he's sitting on the bench, he is like pumping everyone up. So yeah, I literally wrote "not worried" under goaltending, which is like it's a first for a while, but like,
Yeah.
I think having like a legit backup or like 1-2 type punch is something that we've needed. And like, it's been the thing when Freddie was in goals, like, who do we have to back him up? We lose goalies, they go away. You play against them, they get like on giant streaks, etc. So
Yeah.
it's the first time in a while where I don't feel that we don't have options and going down the line. But I also agree that I feel like Shaq should be our number one and give him the chance to do it, because I think he can prove himself. So
Bryan, what do you think?
I think you've both nailed it. Actually, I'm not really sure there's much else for me to say. I do think it's not a bad idea in the league to switch up your like, players move around so much, so it's nice to switch up the roles once in a while. And I think Freddie's just been there for too long. I mean, it was 4 years, and best of luck to him in the Hurricanes. And yeah, and Mrazek, I mean, if you think about some of the contracts that were handed out, I mean, that goalie for Los Angeles who had like 25 games under his belt got $5 million. So I think we're pretty good with Mrazek, who's been in the league for like 5 seasons now for 3.8 or something like that. So yeah, and I agree with what everyone said about Campbell probably being the number one, but now we've got, equal faith in both goaltenders, which is not something that we've had. I can't even remember that we've ever had it, actually. Right. So
even when we got Jack and Freddie got hurt, so you're out, and then when they're both hurt, it's just like, it just felt like a nightmare scenario. And right now we're like, okay, starting on a level playing field. Finally.
Like there's the potential. Like we at this point we trust Mrazek because he's had 0 regulation starts, so like there's always time. But I think a healthy ratio, because like we've been running off of such an unhealthy goalie ratio for 5 seasons now, like only back-to-backs will the backup play. And it didn't serve us well. It didn't serve us well because we never had a backup that was ready to go if Freddie got hurt. And Freddie was clearly not at his best in the playoffs because of the workload. So, and this year is going to be chock full of back-to-backs. There's going to be a 3-week Olympic break. At least have 3 back-to-backs in the first 3 weeks of the season, I think. Like,
that sounds right.
So I think like a 50-42 split, assuming that every guy plays to his potential, give or take a few games. Like,
that's not good math.
Or a 50-32 split. 50-32 split would be a good split. If Mrazek proves that he can still play that much in the NHL, and I'm sure he can. So I like the fact that regardless of how they play in the regular season, we're gonna have 2 rested goalies for the playoffs. So
also not doing the full Babcock thing of playing. I guess it would probably be Jack on the first night and Mrazek on the second. You put the goalie that you're supposed to that you need them really for the second one. You're not playing for the win type thing that he always did.
We got to win the first one first or whatever, and then worry about the second game with the tired legs. Yeah, it was weird philosophy.
Yep.
All right.
So going off that, our next area is what's our biggest area of concern or optimism Trevor, maybe kick us off there. What are your thoughts there?
Okay. So yeah, my biggest point of optimism is the maturity of our high-end players. Like I see Willie has really taken a turn, and it's really accentuated in that series. Like he's loved on that team, and I think he's poised to have a pretty big season. For all the shit we've talked about Marner this season, like he is gonna end up top 5 in scoring, and like so, like I think this is the year where our high end guys actually carry us, not just in the regular season. And then I think we're deeper. I think we're deeper behind them too, and we didn't have any turnover on the blue line. I like that. My biggest concern, honestly, like is like we're not going to talk about playoffs. We're just regular season. It's just the contract hanging over us with Morgan Rowley. Like I don't like that he's not going into the season signed. I don't think he's the kind of guy that would use that as a distraction. He's going to be himself. Like he's a really solid person, but I don't like the fact that we are potentially going to walk another player into unrestricted free agency who's a big part of the team. And yeah, the flat cap, is that kind of screwing up Dubas's master plan? Sure, but he hasn't shown even an inch of wanting to change on the fly either. Right. So yeah, it's going to be, I'm not looking forward to that chatter all season long.
I'm hoping that stops in the same way that Austin's did, where just like one day it's just like, hey, we signed him and it's done. It's not like a Marner situation. It's not a Nylander situation. Just one day, like we did it, move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Nylander year.
Yeah. The 3 months, 4 months, 3 months, it felt like forever.
Bryan, what's your optimism's concerns?
I feel like the defense is, I agree, like we didn't have any change up in the defense. And ever since I've been a Leafs fan since, I was watching since 98, 99. So I've seen a lot of faces turn over in that D. But it feels like they're building a bit of a cast back there now. It's the same people returning. Hull's going to be another year in the league now. Dermott's been there for a while. So as far as like the 5th and 6th roles or 4th, 5th and 6th roles go, I'm not concerned. And I really like Muzzin, Rowley, and Brody had a really good first year with the Leafs. And I think he's proven himself to be a top 4 defenseman. So the defense is an area of optimism for me. And like I said, one of the most optimistic I've been throughout the entire timeline of the Leafs D. I guess some of that, the concern is probably the off the ice stuff, like what Trevor was mentioning with this contract, but also sometimes I wonder if these guys are a little young and they spend too much time on their Instagrams and stuff. So I really hope that they can kind of, I don't know. Kids, right? What is that?
Maybe we can get a couple more Instagram shutdowns.
Yeah, I hope so.
Blackout days.
Well played. Yeah,
I think Christine's a better follow than any Leaf player, though. Just saying.
I follow Christine on Instagram, and it just makes me hungry.
He's talking. I do food photography.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yes, that could have been taken far out of context.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think another year with, they're all a year older now, and I think it'll be a good year for them. I really do. So,
all right, Christine.
Optimism for me is that we have a ton of depth and youth, but it's still, like you were saying, seems pretty matured. I don't worry too much about that. If someone goes down, there's so many people that are going to want to come up and prove themselves and work hard. So that is okay. And that goes hand in hand with my concern, which is staying healthy, because I can't handle like that. So many things injury wise happened in the preseason. Just like, can we please just get rid of it? Just play like one warm up game. Like you have practice. I know they want to make money and you give all the kids the chance, which is great, but then stuff happens, and it's been driving me nuts. So, because we've gone in waves, like someone will get on a roll and then something will happen and then they're out for a minute, and then it takes them like a chunk of time to get back in it if they can. Same thing like Wayne last year when he came back from his injury, he didn't really get back to where he was before. And so that's my main concern. Can we just wrap them all in bubble wrap and like pray?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the other day about the preseason. It's like teams should almost like just there should be a structure. Okay, let's each get 4 power plays so we can practice our power play and penalty kill. Let's just play 4 games. It's almost like a staged event where let's just play these situations. Let's not hurt each other here. Well,
I think it's the problem is that you're playing some of your closest rivals, and it's teams that don't necessarily like each other. Like the Sabrin thing the other day.
Right.
Like he's forever gonna be the back of the jersey guy, but like they don't necessarily like him. He didn't really play for us when we had him. So you're playing your rivals, and like you want to show, especially when it's some of the younger kids, that like you deserve that roster spot, but it's like competition against other people at the same time as internally, and it's a lot and weird.
And does Zach Cassian really need to fight in the preseason? Like the guy's almost 30, like that was.
I'll watch every like Wayne Simmons fight, but
and then even when Simmons dropped his gloves with Sabrin, like I'm like.
It's because he went after Justin Hall.
I know, but those glass hands, like you just never know. He's punching his helmet. And it's like, oh, come on, you guys.
God. You just see the bloody knuckles. You're like, oh no.
I know. Sean, optimism.
Yeah,
You're
I
a pessimistic guy by nature, so let's hear this.
I think for me, the optimism is around our top 4. I'm really excited for the year coming in. I think Austin Matthews is going to have a phenomenal year once he gets back from injuries here. Of the 4, I'm most excited for JT. I thought he had a slow start to the year last year. Then he really came on. The last 2 months of the year, he was a top 10, top 15 player in the league. Obviously coming back from that injury that he suffered in game 1. That's a big one here. We need JT to be JT to give us that number 1 line, who's our second line. And then exactly. And that flows into our power play needs to be dominant. We need to have a dominant power play. It was exposed in the playoffs. It was shit for the majority of the year. It sounds like they brought Nylander back on the power play 1 to play the flank the wing with Austin. Mitch kind of in a row. Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting, and I think that the power play has nowhere to go but up with a talent like this. So that's kind of where my optimism is. My area of concern is kind of one of the first discussion points we had is around goaltending. Yes, I'm very high on Jack Campbell, but he had 1 really good year of 10 years being in the league. Peter Mrazek's a very sporadic goalie. That can be concerning where Freddie gave us, yes, he was very stabilizing force. He was very good for a number of years. My preference was to move on from him because of his playoff inability to stop the puck when he needs to stop the puck in a scenario, a big games type scenario. So that's kind of where my concern is. But the optimism, I think, is high with this team when you want skilled players, and we have some of the best skilled players in the world. And so that's kind of leads us into our next point of topics around the Matthews injury. Obviously, he's going to miss the first 3 games here, the first week of the season with his injury. We had the potential for a Mitch Marner injury too, but it sounds like it's nothing. Sounds like he's going to be in tomorrow. But the Matthews wrist injury has continued to linger just for over a year now. People are having a planning of why did he get his surgery in August? Why did he wait so long? Well, they wanted to, if you can not have surgery, that's the best route to go. So, but that was one where he was still having some issues, and they went in, they cleaned it up, and my feeling is I don't think we should be overly concerned with this injury. Hopefully they've cleaned it up properly. He's taking the precautionary steps of giving it time to heal. And I think in terms of how worried am I, it's like a 0.1 out of 100. That's me.
So you don't think he just wanted to have a hot girl summer with Bieber, and he didn't want to have a cast on his hand and get that cast tan or anything
To
like
the
that?
cast in
No,
Arizona, yeah.
That surgery's got to be the last case scenario, and they just tried every rehab option.
should.
I bet he's on the phone with Jack.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not concerned. The only thing that concerns me is that when he comes back, I don't care that he didn't play in the exhibition games, but I just want his ability to shoot to be like 100% right off the hop, because that's
Exactly.
what he is. And he's also low key one of the best two-way centers in the league now, because Babcock taught him well.
I wouldn't say low key. I think that's legitimate.
But people won't give us credit because we're the Leafs, because we can't have the best two-way center in the league because we just talked about it, and so it can't be true. But he is. So,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, right.
I hope that Matthews comes back strong, but I suspect he will. So I'm not too worried about it.
Which leads us into our next topic, because in the past we've done predictions on the pod, and we always go like, well, who's going to win the cup? Yeah, the Leafs are, obviously, right? So we're not doing that this year. Matthews, so we're going to do some different type of predictions, more player based with a little Leaf one at the end. But so the first one is, will Matthews win the Rocket? And if yes, how many will he score? Now he's already minimum 3 games down. So, and he always scores 4 on opening night. So that sucks. But I'll start. I don't think there's anybody that can touch a healthy Austin Matthews in the Rocket race. Not even Ovi, not even McDavid.
Well, Obi's out too.
Not even Zach Hyman. And so I think if he plays 79 games, he's going to score 57 goals and win the Rocket.
That was
the power
good
play
math
is going
there.
to click. Hey?
That was better math than you're
I
trying
think
to figure out your goals.
He wrote it down before. I mean, you had to have written that down before. I can't do
just
that on the
rehearsed.
fly.
I rehearsed it. I've been down here for hours rehearsing that specific thing. Brian.
Yeah, I think there's no reason he can't win the Rocket. He's proven himself to be one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. And if he plays 79 minus the 4 that he would have got his first game, I think he can probably score, I would say, let's say 55.
That's what I'm thinking, 55.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number.
Sean?
I'm going to go with he's not going to win the Rocket, because that's just it's too easy to say he will win it. I'm going to say
Okay.
he's going to score 59 this year, and David Pasternak's going to score 61.
Oh,
because
that's
the
a
Bruins
huge
need
prediction.
everything out of
Okay.
David Pasternak to make the playoffs. So I'm going to give Pasternak edging Matthews in the Rocket. 2 years ago, Pasternak did that in the COVID shortened season before the weird COVID shortened season. But
Which one?
I'm just going to go on a limb here, because
Okay.
I obviously I want Matthews to win it, but let's just throw some spice.
I like the departure from homerism. I do. But
Yes.
now let's hear
Leafs
your
fan base will
homerism,
frown on
Christine.
you as history unfolds, though.
It'd be better Matthews to just score 67 goals this year and win. that
Oh,
would be
no.
the absolute
Ow.
homer.
Oh,
I think he's going to beat Gretzky's record, man. He's breaking 100.
What do you got, Christine? What's your number?
I wrote, hell yeah. He just has to stay healthy, because that literally would be his only downfall. It's basically what stopped him from doing it a couple seasons ago when he was really close to 50, is he just lost those games to injury. So as long as he can stay okay, and I feel like when he comes back from the injury, the wrist stuff right now is like, if he has the same confidence in his shot and he goes into it head first with that, and then I think he can do it, because I feel like everyone else around him also wants him to do it. So
Yeah.
they're that sort of team.
What's the number?
Oh God. I think I said at least 53. I'm just got that internal.
Okay.
I don't know if he's gonna be good the
You
whole
know,
season.
you know who would totally endorse that number? Rick Vive.
Yeah.
Because he has 54. He has
Yeah.
that's the franchise record is 54.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was like,
Yeah.
I hope for more, and I think he can do more if he's good the rest of the year. But who
All right.
knows? Also, I missed that first game where he scored all 4 goals.
I remember you have said that in the past.
I was camping, and then the
Yeah.
next day I was flying home back from Ontario back here, and my phone just went absolutely insane, and I spent the next day just rewatching the replays over and over again. So
for all of our Ontario listeners, where were you camping that weekend?
in Algonquin.
Algonquin?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Rock Lake and Algonquin. That's my family's
All right,
go-to spot.
nice. Well, let's stay with Christine. And will William Nylander score 40 goals this year?
I don't think so. I know they're giving
Okay.
him more time, but I think they've started putting him on the penalty kill because I think they just want him out there more. I think he'll get at least 30. I'd hope he'd get at least 30. And
Mhm.
I think it's just who he ends up playing with. It's like, is
Right.
he getting the passes that he needs to score, or is he just part of the playmaking thing? So
Mhm.
I don't know about 40. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Sean.
I'm in the same boat. I don't think he'll get 40. I think he'll be in the 75-point range with about between 30 and 35 goals. I think for that line, I think JT will be the one scoring goals. I'm hoping JT is back in the 40-goal club. So for me, Willie will not be at over 40 goals for the year.
Right.
Very similar to what everyone else has said. I don't see him as a 40 goaler, like point game player. So I think he'll probably get something around 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be high 30s, but I want to back up something I've been saying for a while, is that I think he's one of the most elite passers in the league. And with his, I think he's a better passer than Mitch Marner. And I think that because Mitch Marner he's a bit of a daredevil, a bit of a hope. He's a bit of a hope passer and a bit of a turnover machine. Willie will just keep his head up and zip a pass to a guy in a scoring position. And from that half wall position, I think he's going to actually probably he's going to have a career high in assists. I think he could hit 80 points this year because he's going to have a lot of power play assists this year. So that's my 37 goals, but 80 points.
On all those peeper goals that Mitchie's going to bury this year.
Yes, exactly. So simple question, Brian. Will Marner get 100 points?
Yeah, if Matthews has because they're going to be playing together this year. So if Matthews has the year that we all kind of have predicted that he will, I think Marner's only going to benefit from that. And I also think Marner does a lot for Matthews too. So they have kind of a good symbiotic relationship there. So I think there's no reason he can't get 100 points.
Right. Yeah. Sean?
I think for me, that's way too low. He's going to blow by 100 points this year. I think he's going to be 125-point plus year.
Wow.
He's likely going to average
season.
over assists a game. I think he's going to be in the 85 to 90 assists on the year, in the 30-goal range. I think it's going to be a monster year for Mitch. He's heard the critics all summer. He's going to come back, and he's going to be a man possessed. And on top of it too, he's going to be on the bubble, like even as a top point getter on the bubble to make Team Canada. And don't kid yourselves that making Team Canada is a pretty high fucking goal for all these guys. So
Yeah.
I think Mitch Marner is going to be a man possessed, and we're going to see him in the 125-point-ish realm.
Whoa, Christine.
I wrote, "Oh fuck yeah, bud."
Yeah.
That's like, is that even a question? Like a full season? Like, yeah. Oh yeah. He's got so much ice time that it's just almost impossible not to. And with the people he's playing with, like, yeah, he is the more chaotic passer, I guess.
Yeah, chaotic is a good word for it.
Yeah, he's a little all over the place, but I feel like he's also wily. Like that's his thing. Like he like will dipsy deal around things and like work his way out of situations and like somehow find a way to get the puck there. And you're just like, okay, sure. Yeah.
He's kind of like Andy Samberg in Hot Rod, where it's like trying to do the pool jump, and it's like darn. And then like Rowley and Brody have to like hustle back for the turnover. And but he just keeps going, and he finally like he beats up his dad, and it's his stepdad, and like it's.
This is a fringe. This is a fringe.
I went off
Someone fucking mute Trevor's mic.
So the next one's a bit of a Marner extension, kind of a troll job because he
Massive troll job.
because he didn't score a power play goal in 56 games last year. And so, but we can also just sort of maybe have a more of an intelligent conversation on, will he score over or under 2.5 power play goals this year? But if you want to make a comment on like his new role as the bumper guy.
Oh, I said 0.5. I said you switched.
I know.
This is my question.
Reggie said 0.5. I switched it to 2.5.
That's a little too. I had to reread it a couple times. I'm like, are you being mean? Oh, you're being mean. Okay.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Christine?
I say over, but I'm honestly not even concerned. Like,
no,
there's so many other people that are scoring them, and he, for me, is so much more valuable on the penalty kill that like I just don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Other people are going to do that. It's fine. Like point shots from like the defense. I feel like the defense will probably outscore him in that kind of situation.
Riley hit the net the other night on the power play.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bryan?
Yeah, I think he'll get over 2.5. Yeah, if it'll be a hot power play this year, then yeah, he'll just be bound to get more than maybe 3.5. Who knows?
Sean?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the over here. I'm all in on Mitch Marner for this year. Big supporter, number one Mitch Marner fan. I think having him not have to play that other wing position and putting Nylander there takes a little pressure off him having to be a shooter. We're not talking about the Mitch Marner shot. He's going to be rolling around. Like the passing is his bread and butter. One of the best playmakers in the game. There's nowhere to go but up for this power play, and I think he will have at least 3 power play goals this year.
At least 3.
Me too. But I think in that bumper position, he's going to get a lot of tap ins. He's good at finding space, and as long as he's not like taking those tap in opportunities and maybe trying to make that extra pass sometimes to a more open JT on the other side through a stick and a skate or whatever. Right? Just like be selfish, bury the puck, and go change lines. So like that's kind of the deal. So all right, and so the only team oriented one we're going to do is I saw these. You see the modeling from Dom on the Athletic today that had the Leafs coming in at 2nd overall with 109.5 points. That was kind of his model in the Athletic today. So Bryan, where will the Leafs finish in their division and overall?
I think 2nd in the division and 7th overall.
7th overall in the league?
Yeah.
Okay. Would be some big point getters out in the West, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Will they get more points than Edmonton this year?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Oilers they have Hyman now.
Oilers have Hyman, and they get to play the Kraken 7 times. So,
yeah, who knows? They might be like Vegas this year, though, where or when Vegas was a expansion team and they got like 100 points or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Right, Christine.
I wavered between 2nd and 3rd for the division. I just don't know what Boston's got this year.
Right.
Or Tampa. Like, I don't know what they've got. I look at the rest of the division. I'm like, okay, we've got that. That's fine. So it's basically how those other 2 teams perform. The league overall is hard because I feel like there are wild cards out west. So I don't really know. I was leaning towards 6th. There's no way I am optimistic every year, but I would never say 2nd. I mean, that would be amazing, but that doesn't also mean anything. in any
Yeah.
capacity. It like might be home ice advantage, but I don't care about any of that. We just need to win a playoff
Yeah.
series and then the
Yes.
next playoff series. So
Second place with home ice advantage, and Boston finishes third.
oh, I mean, that's delightful and I like it. So that's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd say maybe I'd optimistically top 5 is where I hope in overall. But
Right.
yeah, I just don't know what I don't know what Tampa and Boston have this year. So we'll see.
Cool. Sean.
I think for me, they're going to win the Atlantic. This is a big year for the Leafs. They are playing a tough division. I think Tampa's taking a step back because they've lost a number of good players. Unknown with Boston, with not really having that second line center now with Krejci playing over in the Czech Republic. They still have one of the top lines in the game. Obviously, I picked Pasternak to win the Rocket Richard, but I think they're going to win the Atlantic. I think overall they're going to be in that third to fourth range. I think you're going to see Vegas and Colorado near the top of the league. And then one of those teams from the Metro is going to have a monster year. There's so many good teams. It could be Carolina, it could be the Islanders, it could be anyone. But I think they'll be in that 3-4 range. And you never know in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're right about sort of Tampa. I think they're coming off 2 really weird seasons, deep playoff runs. They played a lot of hockey in the last 18 months, and they might just sort of pace themselves a little bit here, and they don't have as much depth. I think the division's there for the taking, assuming health and good goaltending, and so and 4th overall, but they're gonna. I think they're gonna win the Atlantic as well, and I think in the wild card, first round wild card, they're gonna take it a step further, and they're gonna play Carolina in the first round wild card game.
You're just picking chaos. Oh yeah, let's play Freddie. I mean,
right? I know.
As long as playoff Freddie is our playoff Freddie, then I think we're okay.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Jeez. I want to play a team that has Nazem Kadri on it in the first round of the playoffs. Apparently, that's always a ticket to ride.
Is he not suspended for game 1?
Somebody else is suspended for game 1. Mark Scheifele is still suspended for 1 game in the regular season.
Scheifele.
Oh,
after that fiasco.
Right.
So let's talk about our beers, Christine.
Mine's gone.
And how was it?
It was good. It was it's a West Coast IPA, so I think it was a little bit lighter than like a very heavy one. So I do recommend everything's coming up Millhouse.
What's
And
your
I'll have
alcohol
another one.
volume? What's your average annual salary in that one? Ours is 4.5.
6.5, maybe.
Whoa!
It's an IPA, of course it is.
That's a grown-up beer.
Squamish, the Backcountry Brewing does a lot of the pop culture reference ones. There was I had a Dumb and Dumber one the other day. It was it's the line about big gulps.
That's a great brewery. I've stopped in there a few times on the way to Whistler. It's so good.
Yeah, they have like really good staples, and then they have like so many weird seasonal one-off ones. So I've got a private liquor store just down the street, and every time I go in there, I look for the new tag and see what is new in the single section, and they almost always have a new one from these guys. But I managed to find a 4-pack of this, so I'm saving one for Simpsons trivia. But yeah.
Would you buy it again?
I would. I'm not a giant IPA in multiples fan. Like I'll have it like at a bar if I'm feeling like it, or I'll try them in one-offs. But yeah, this was a 4-pack. If I can find it over there in the singles, I might get it again. But I also probably have to get one for my siblings in Ontario.
Right. Yeah. Bryan, what do you think of it?
It's this. I had the Eclipse Black Velvet Stout from Phillips. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of Phillips. I had their porter is the only dark beer I've ever had, and so I wasn't sure what to.
The Longboat.
Yeah, the chocolate porter.
Exactly.
First beer I bought when I turned 19, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird. That is a very weird choice, though. Like a
when
porter.
you're from Victoria, it's just
No
different.
kidding, eh?
Porter. Oh my God. Ooh.
Most guys buy a flat of Lucky, Producer Red goes gets himself a dark porter.
Yeah.
The flat of lucky was when he was 14.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was my fake. It was my first time buying liquor. It was my first time legally.
That's what I mean. It's like he already developed the palate that he could go for porter when he was 19.
Yeah.
Everyone I know from BC that drank stuff before they were 19 drank the giant like 2 liter of Growers.
I've had those too. I've had those too.
Which I didn't really understand until I got here, and it looks like a pop bottle, but it's cider.
Reg, what did you think of the Eclipse? Would you go down to Phillips with me and have one out of a tap?
I think I'm going to be drinking a lot of this beer this winter.
There you go.
Yeah,
Me too. I think we'll go down there next time I service the car.
Yeah,
we'll walk 2 blocks down the street. Wait for it to have a couple of these. Got to be able to drive home. Maybe one.
it's 4.5 or
It's only 4.5.
It is 4.5. It's not like
Not condoning drinking and driving.
No, not at all. No, nope, not at all. Sean, I actually have communicated with Cowbell in the last week, and they have some beers there for you, ready for the next few pods.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where's Cowbell based?
Blythe.
London.
Oh,
Blythe.
okay.
Just outside of London.
Yeah. So
There
they will hook you up with some stuff.
Very nice.
Guys, that was super fun.
that was a good pod.
It was a really good podcast.
Yeah.
I think
I'm very
we
excited.
kind of think we hit some notes that other people don't, and I really like our vibe. Nice to have somebody in person because COVID is over. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now we just gotta convince Bryan to go get the vaccine.
Oh yeah. right after having a couple more of these.
Yeah, he's gonna explain his science to me here in a minute. Yeah.
Oh no.
He's
And on that
double
note,
vaccinated. He's
And on
double
that
vaccinated.
note,
Yeah.
You got single doors on the house, but only double vaccinated.
On
people.
that note, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
go Leafs, go.
Let's go.
Let's go.